Hello everyone! Welcome back to TRI's Crypto Countdown Top 100 Review. Crypto Top 100, something like that, I don't know. This is episode 36 though. Gee whiz, we've been banging out these right, left, and center for the past year or so. Actually, it's been really fascinating to follow along the sort of... I guess you'd say we had a bit of a blow off top there last spring. You know, if anything, everybody got taught a really good lesson about what blow off tops look like. Coinbase IPOs, I think that was a big frothy event. And then, of course, Mr. Musk and his games with Doge and Saturday Night Live and all that. So just about 1 year later, here we are. And actually, you know, if the market's been correcting for better part of a year, maybe we're due for a bit of a rally, eh? So a lot of the tea leaves seem to be pointing towards some sort of pivot here, so that's encouraging. And I've got my cohorts here, actually two of the three. So actually, maybe why don't we do, oh, by the way, my name is Brian Beamish, the Rational Investor from the rationalinvestor.com. Sure you've seen our website and our offerings all over the interneting, but maybe not. Check out our YouTube page. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let's see. There's the page there. And actually, I was just going through the testimonials tonight from some old site members. Really cool to listen to them, San and Alex. We actually have quite a library of free content. God, it must be thousands of hours of Brian just ranting away. And then, of course, this is episode 36 of this TRI's Top 100 Crypto Review. So we've been doing this quite a bit. If you want to, and actually, you know, we even have old videos we used to do with sites like Coinigy, tutorials, and then also some videos that I think are actually really important for everybody to familiarize themselves with. And then, of course, our social media maven, Josh, he's so awesome. He has his own channel. So we often recommend people pop over there for a big dose of PMA. So the rationalinvestor.com, that's our game. And of course, we have a website who Sjord and Julian manage diligently. Super proud of them. And I get the privilege to hang out with a few site members, school participants, on a regular basis here once a week and talk a little crypto. And so why don't we take a moment and introduce them? I don't think we really do the cameras. We just more to just do audio. But Nick's at the top of the list, so we'll start with Nick. Hey, Nick, how you doing this evening?
Doing good. Ready to rapid fire some crypto names.
All right. Yeah, actually, we even decided we're going to try and do a little different angle here tonight. Since the market does look like it's trying to pivot, see if we can bang out a whole bunch of quick sort of analysis for you here tonight. Is there like you go on the site Hard Made Easy? Is that sort of your crypto handle? Do people in crypto land know you by that?
I try to stay very anonymous on
okay.
like Twitter and stuff. I don't really post anything about crypto whatsoever. It's just on TRI.
Okay, cool. So next up on our hit list, we've got Derek here this evening. How you doing this evening, Derek?
I'm doing well. Feels like spring where I am. So I'm hoping this market does a little spring. We get a little bounce here.
That's cool. They often say, actually, I told somebody this the other day, and they go, I never heard that before. But when I was a kid, they used to always say, March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Have either of you two ever heard that expression?
Nope, I haven't heard that one.
I have. It might just be because I'm older, but...
All right. It's us old fuddy-duddies. Oh, well. So what is it? We're getting on near the end of March, aren't we? I think we're marching through March.
Yeah, about mid-March.
Oh, we're about halfway through. So hopefully by the end of the month, most of the winter weather will be behind us. Usually there's one more surprise right at the beginning of March. But anyway. So As Nick alluded to there just a few minutes ago, I think thought maybe we try a little bit of a different angle because there is so much uppy in the market right now. I don't know whether I can't remember. Have we taken a week or two off here?
We were off last week because you were moving.
Okay, looks like the last time we met was the 2nd of March.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense. Okay, so I mean, just to quickly review. How did we do? The market was up 18% from then? Is that what this says?
That was from the 23rd to the 2nd. Let me check what Bitcoin's price was.
It's probably just a big hurry up and do nothing, eh?
It most likely is, yeah. We're going to be right
43.8. I mean, this is 2 weeks ago. Well, it's 41 now.
Looks like we opened at 41.1, so I'll make another column quick or row.
So, but interestingly, in that interim, we did quite a wild swing there, right? So it'd be interesting. Like last Wednesday, when was last Wednesday? That was the 9th, eh? So where's the 9th? Boom, right there. Oh, isn't that funny? So we were actually maybe even just about. Isn't that interesting? So we've literally done 1 week swings, eh? So I think 2 weeks ago was that like March? You said March 2nd, March 3rd.
Yeah, it was on the 2nd. We were right at just under 44 at that point.
Fascinating. Oh, so, okay. Well, we didn't. I guess we would get a -1 for last week. And then last week, the 9th, I guess the first tick was like right there. So what's that? That's 42.17. And here we are. 17th. Oh, I guess 16th, eh? So, what's that right there? 40, 500. So, I guess both of them would get slight down votes, eh? Does that sound about right? I don't know.
Yep, I have updated the spreadsheet.
All right, so, there you go. Boom, boom. So, I think I voted a big sort of nothing burger. I was expecting unchanged. Looks like Nick got it right there with a -1. And how did Derek and Ben do? Derek looks like he went uber bull.
Somebody must have filled that in for me.
Yeah, Derek wasn't there. I definitely put in. We did it too for him.
That's not in my nature. I have no greens on that chart.
Okay. And Ben actually was very bearish. Really? Oh well. So nobody. Well, Nick was the rightest of all of us. Way to go, Nick! You're awesome. Not a huge meltdown, but just a minor meltdown. I guess what under 5%, eh? So yeah. Okay, maybe the end of the night we'll do another one of these. Always fun to check in with the crew and see what we're thinking going forward. So what I thought we'd do just for fun is try and just see if we can just bang out enough names, and I would just go through the criteria really quickly. 52-week range, reload zones, are we in those? If gets a check, I think the boys, Nick said he even put like a spreadsheet column. Yeah, here we are. So we'll just see if we can just bang through these as quick as possible. So you just give me a symbol and I'll spit it out and see if we can get as much done as possible.
Well, let's start right here, BTC.
BTC, so interestingly enough, on a 52-week range, March to March, we are actually in a buying zone. So I think we can go, even all the way back against this, though, if it is even slightly lower. But it looks like that low is even lower. So, yeah, we are in a buying range. And, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them, I thought were in that sort of bottoming area. A few episodes ago, we sort of did that, a little bit off topic, but nonetheless, sort of like how long should the correction sort of take to stop going down, start going back up. So we're almost through it, and I've been telling everybody on the site that I do like the idea that following the beginning of April, we should see some resolution here. So yeah, I would say definitely we have location. What do you think we should use for indicator confirmation? We'll do a poll. What's your favorite indicator to use for divergence, Nick?
I like MACD the best.
MACD itself, or the histogram, or
the histogram?
Okay, Derek, what do you like?
I would agree.
Really, you like using them, eh? That's kind of cool.
I do like seeing OBV divergences the most, but they are a lot more rare, so I figure we're better off with MACD.
Okay. Just have that on for now. So, do we have indicator confirmation of a divergence? I don't think we have divergence. I tell you, that's not a bad looking W down there, though. That looks good. Almost here. It's interesting. I like to actually use slightly modified MACD, but yeah, it doesn't really matter out of the box. So 5.9, 5.1. So that's actually a little bit lower. I don't see any divergence. Interesting, there was a div back here, but then no W ever really came out of it. So, gonna have to say no on the divergence. It's not a bad little W though working here. So, I'm gonna say location's nice. If anything, you almost kind of want to get that FU move to have that dip to new lows, but momentum isn't really that bad, and it's just like a 1 or 2 day FU event, and that'll give you your div. Seen that happen a lot. So I'm going to say no to the div. And then finally, price structure. She kind of wants to put in a W here, eh? The only thing I'm concerned about is this was a Fed announcement day. That's been done now. So now we actually have to see what's the reaction the other side of the market. This really isn't the best trade location. So I don't know. I don't think I really have structure yet to work with. So I think we have location. We don't have divergence yet. And we don't have structure yet. That's probably the way that I would shape this. And also to remember, I really do like this kind of thinking here. I love the idea that they're going to goad the public into getting bullish and then one FU just to piss everybody off. And then we put in the bottom. That would make sense to me. All right. What's next?
Ethereum.
Should I take a screenshot of this and really well, or do we just want to do the check marks?
I was going to say, I'm keeping track of the yeses and nos.
Yeah, so why don't we just do that? I mean, I don't care. We can do either or. There's the link. I'll throw the link. Where should I put the link?
Yeah, you can put it in our chat. And I'll
in the chat. Okay.
I'll put it in
there on TRI. All right, there we go. So I'll put that in there. Have fun with that. Okay, next up, Ethereum. All right. I think I'm going to say the same thing. I like trade location. We've been going down for a hell of a long time here now. We're into March now, so a year ago, yeah, it's right around these levels. What's the base the market's working with? Looks like, all these lows in here. There's probably some good buying interest down there. And really, it's the same thing as we saw on Bitcoin. But interesting, you can see that there actually is a div that's already in place here. So, same thing as we said before. There's your reload zone. And actually, I think this is a really good analogy of there's the div. And you let it sort of come in. And actually, there's even a bigger one here, right? Which is interesting. This is for those people that know me, get a little bit of a sort of grade 12 or a 12-year-old humor, a double divergence, double D's. Ooh. So, but what's interesting about this is that even if you draw this little range, this is also a reload zone. And what's fascinating about this is, so you could say that the div is there. So I think you got location check. You've got indicator confirmation. This is pretty darn bullish divergence-ish. And actually, even just in the short term, this sure looks like some sort of wedge here, right? Something like that. Something like that. So something clearly, this is some sort of catalyst. And you can see volumes trying to come in to confirm whatever this move is. And really, so I think you can say location check, divergence check. And then the question is, do you have a W? And there it is right there. It's staring us in the face. I also like this too, because I think you can actually start drawing things like uptrend lines off of these levels. So I don't think this is really a bear until you actually start seeing M's below these trend lines. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. This actually looks pretty bullish. The, yeah, so of the two, look at that, doink, doink, doink. So we're breaking through, really. I mean, I like the fact that there is a W right here. You know, I wouldn't fault you if you were like, you know, Brian, I gotta go. This might be like a Linda Bradford Redsky, you know, and if Bitcoin does have one more FU to create its divergence, maybe this thing dumps against these lows. But that's a lot of lows to be able to risk against. So I don't know whether you really want to chase. In fact, actually, I wouldn't even mind just sprinkling some orders. So buy that W. 27.74.64. So let's say 27.75. So in that column, I wouldn't have a problem writing down that fourth column, Nick, that we talked about. I'd write down 27.75 there. So we traded 27.91. So we've gone through that level. I think you can make an argument. In fact, probably like the slick trader would have a buy on stop one tick above that high. So 27.91, let's call it 27.92. Today's high here so far, 27.83. So it actually makes it fairly easy. If you see the market swish up through there, then you know she's off to the races. So actually, I really don't mind Ethereum. And what's kind of cool is I did see a lot of other sort of OGers were posting that, holy geez, look at that Ethereum chart. So I don't know what's going on here, but if I was going to take a risk in the marketplace, this isn't a bad one to take a real darn good look at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any news or anything on Ethereum. I know they said that the Ethereum 2.0 might be delayed a little bit, whatever their next on the release was. So
All right.
if anything, it was bad news, but it seems like it's doing pretty well right now.
Well, I'd also say too, this might just be nothing more than just purely technical. So interesting how 38.2 off of this range, that was hit there. So now we banged against reload zone here. I mean, ironically enough, probably going to bang up against reload zone up top, which is up in here. And really what this should translate into, if it's a bull, is we break through this trend line, and then what do I want to see?
A W.
Yeah, so we do something like that. That'll set up a lower time frame bullish bot, and there's going to be a war in this reload zone. All right, so you can see it's playing reload zone ping pong right now. Question really, I think, is do we tick up through that high? Now that might have been just sort of a Fed day reaction high, and we just don't tick up through that high. So this is a really good example where I think actually the trade's really simple. So you can see the battle going on right now at the breakout level here, right? You see that? So this is actually, you know, if we finish like this is exactly that bull bear battle line stuff that I always talk about. It's really simple. So right here, if that inside bar fails and beep, next candle we're heading down, then you know there was no breakout, it was a failure. If we tick up through the highs here, right there, then that's probably a midpoint consolidation zone. That means you probably go like, here to here, and there to there, right? Whatever the bottom of that zone is, that will give you your target up there, which would make sense too, right? Because there's probably a big liquidity pool right up top here. So if they wanted to pump it up here and go after some cheap money, there's probably a bunch of stops up there. So anyway, okay. So moving on. That's actually this is the reason why I kind of want to do this, because I think there's going to be a bunch of actual trade levels that spit themselves up here. So there's a zoomed out version and there's a zoomed in version. I don't know. Take your pick which one you want to work with. Okay, what's up next?
BNB.
BNB, so that's CZ, eh?
Yep.
So I still don't understand if you buy this, is this not just purely a function of, well, they actually use the BNB to power the Binance Smart Chain, right?
They do.
So would you say that the BNB coin is the same as like gas for Ethereum?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, and are people still hip with Mr. CZ and his centralized DeFi?
They had an enormous run up early last year. I haven't seen kind of the hype around it, but I mean, Binance is still heavily used.
Yeah, he's the biggest game in town. I think they just got a money license somewhere. Where didn't they get him? Not a money or.
I think he's buddy with Chapa. They both have money printers.
Yeah, I forget where was it though.
Yeah. The interesting thing is they always used to, okay, let's not get off topic. Okay. So same sort of thing, if a market can't break out after about a year or so consolidating a zone, well, then you have to actually start thinking about the bottom of this zone is actually a floor. And I guess we go off of that high somewhere in there. So if this is a big honking triangle, you can see something like that, and then something like that. So there's your trading range. Interesting to see bull divs coming in through this dump here. And really, this hasn't been confirmed yet, but you can see how momentum was stronger than this low would suggest. And you can see how things are trying to turn back up here. Don't really have any volume leadership here. So, what chain would CZ come out with that would sort of be build a better mousetrap? Like, I can understand projects are built on certain blockchains which drive demand. So the question is, are there any big projects that are coming out on the CZ centralized DeFi exchange system?
I don't know about coming out, but Binance has one of the best supplies of different tokens you can buy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just mentioned they got a license. They're granted a crypto asset service provider license in Bahrain.
Oh, so that wasn't being facetious. That was actually real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little bit news for you.
So in Bahrain, CZ money is actual like currency. You can go buy a jug of milk with CZ money.
Well, I mean, no. What I mean is that they got granted to be a crypto asset provider, right? So I guess Bahrainians can now use Binance.
Fascinating. Huh. Okay. I wonder how many palms had to get greased for that deal, eh? This world is so corrupt, and it's just getting more corrupt by the moment. It's ridiculous. Oh, and I always like to ask, so, I right off the bat, Nick, not to pick on you, but maybe Derek, you know Matt better, I don't know. But what's his name again? Danny. Is Danny out of the doghouse yet?
I don't know. He's been tweeting a little bit the last couple days, which he took a long time off of Twitter, so he might end up being. But I'm not sure. One of his projects, Ice, has doubled in the last day or two. So
Oh,
it's
there
at
he
least
goes.
getting some decent price action.
He's coming back, eh? All right, well, there you go. I mean, my hunch is as soon as he's out of the doghouse and people think, yeah, no, he's the cool, he's the shit, then we're right back in it, boys. Get ready. So that's kind of why I wanted to try and cover as many of these as possible, because I think the bear has been going on long enough. It's a little overdue for a rally here in the market. Okay, so looking at Binance Coin in particular, okay, trade location. Yes, this to me kind of looks like a head and shoulders, eh? So something like that, and then like that, and then maybe one more shoulder over here. Don't really like, I mean, I gotta say, and you know, the thing is, I mean, this thing's already worth a fortune. He's already, you know, his size of his treasury must just be staggering. So I don't know whether he really needs to see new highs here. But with all of these trend lines in place, you can see this one's being broken. So we're playing with this breakout here. But if we go and W out here, we're probably going to bang into resistance against this trend line. Then you have to do the same thing, W on the other side. Then we get up there, we're going to bang against this one. And then we get up through there, you're going to bang on this. So, and I don't see any sort of volume push here. Where are the buyers, right? And that's why I sort of asked you. I think that what ends up happening with sort of the top tier names is that when new protocols and new sort of applications come online, that's a whole bunch of new demand for these base current units, and so as a result, price has to go up. So that's sort of my interpretation of the way this game works. So if you can't tell me that there's a new, better, smarter, faster, whatever contract, you know, NFT or, you know, is CZ not getting into the video game business? I'm sure that would be something right down his alley.
They have plenty of games that are tokens that are out on Binance.
Ah, okay, so they are floating around there. And then really probably the best thing for you to do is, you know, my hunch is the volume pattern here is going to tell you when this thing's ready to be bought. So I would go location, yes. Indicator confirmation, yeah, it's okay. Sort of like, you know, you had a bit of a pivot back here. And, you know, there was this W. What you really wanted to see was a W following here and a rock and roll, and away we go. But look how it just M'd out right away and boom. So that kind of slammed whatever bullish momentum we have here. So I'm going to have to say neutral on the momentum. And then finally, I don't see any volume push here at all. And then finally on price structure, you know, really simply put, I would prefer to see some sort of indication that this thing's stronger than price would lead you to believe before I really got too enthusiastic on the buy side. But for the time being, there's your price range. And I suppose if we start closing out up top here, then you can start thinking about things like inverted head and shoulders, and maybe this is a base, and you could work bids against this breakout level down the road. So I'm going to say location, yeah, okay, but that's as far as it goes. All right, who's next up on the hit list?
Cardano.
ADA? ADA. Where should we look at this? Coinbase?
Sure.
Who was it? There was somebody that I was talking to today.
Yeah, don't do Coinbase. There's not a ton of history. I might do Binance or something.
Interesting though. Looks like there might even be a div there though. So that's interesting. This is a really good example. You can clearly see this whatever the hell this momentum pushes, it's coming to an end here. So they keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it, and it's starting to break out here. This thing gets rocking and rolling. You might not see it. That, you know, this is an interesting chart right here, because you can see the massive div every time they push it lower. These lows, they did break here, right? And so that sort of stopped whatever the bull inertia was there. But look how they're trying to pivot it back up here. But you say there's a better place to look at this? I was thinking, like Binance and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I'd look there.
Versus Tether. I guess Tether is sort of like industry standard, eh? People are totally comfortable with Tether now.
I think so. A lot of Americans they'll prefer USDC, but the rest of the world, I think, for the most part prefers Tether.
All right. Well, look at what we got here. So that high there, 0.008, and here we have 0.009. Woohoo! So there's a bit of a turn here. This low, though, it is a deep low, so it did go after these. You know what this looks like? So let's see if I don't know. Let's see if you guys can quiz. Have either of you guys been in the TRISOF club meetings? Actually, there's a stock Derek picked here that just looks like, oh fuck, I better go buy some. This thing's gonna go insane. So, but anyway, we'll get to that another day, I suppose. Maybe we'll have you on the stock pickers. Maybe we should do the TRI Secret Options Formula Club meeting public one of these days. Anyway, Derek's a pretty good stock picker. He can't fucking write a level 3 final exam to save his soul. But he's a good stock picker.
I'm gonna get there.
Never been closer, right? Never been closer. All right, sorry. Okay, what pattern does this look like? It's a little bit off topic there.
Oh, Adam and Eve.
Oh, very good. Damn, stone cold. So
I don't know how to trade them, but I've seen a few of them in the SOF.
Yeah, like with we have one site OG, David O, who's I think he's ready to. I don't want to do that though, so you know what? I'm gonna stop that conversation right there because every time I do that, I always get into trouble. So he's a big fan of Adam and Eve patterns, and this kind of looks like an Adam and Eve. I wonder. This low's, I mean, it's interesting how they just kept taking it down against this low and it just would not break. So ideally, of course, you want to see the break above that level. What is that level? 86.3. 80. So if you see 86.4, man, let's say maybe, be generous. Say maybe 80, 86.5. You see 86.6, 866, and you know this thing's ready to go. So that's kind of cool. No volume, actually a little bit of a volume push here yet. I guess that was through yesterday's price action in the market, eh? And the whole market, did you guys notice that following the Fed announcement, the whole fucking risk market just took off like a rocket? I don't know whether you guys noticed that or not.
Yeah, it did.
So, yeah, here. So you can see stock market just... There's the Fed announcement, and everybody's like, oh, God, what the hell is going to happen? And all of a sudden, just everybody's like, you know what? If he's raising rates, that must mean the economy must be pretty strong. Fucking hey, man, let's go and buy, woohoo! Risk took off. So, it makes sense that crypto's pivoting here. And what I find really interesting is how the algo is trying to point up in earnest, especially for the big cap cryptos. I think ADA is in the big cap crypto name. All right, so moving on. You could even draw like a reload zone, boobity-boo, there to there, and you can see how we're basically sitting in that reload zone right now, eh? So fascinating level, and like we said there a moment ago, nice, interesting Adam and Eve. And, this low is a tail low. It's interesting if we change that to a line chart. You can definitely see the divergence there and momentum off a line chart. But that's kind of cheating a little bit. So I'm going to say location I like because basically look at that. I mean, this has been one directional for like 6-7 months. And this might be a scenario at 83.5 cents. This might be a scenario where even just a bounce like to the 50% rule, $1.96. So if you get any kind of W that comes in down here, basically just looking to sell half at the 50% rule, which is technically normal, produces a double, which means you can sell half at that level and get a risk-free trade on the rest, and you could be long ADA for the rest of your days, whether you will like it or not. Wouldn't cost you a penny. So I love those kind of trade setups. That's what I think is setting up here. The only thing I'll say is that this isn't a clean div, so it's a little sloppy. And I think I'm seeing a lot of this. Remember, we started off the conversation with, I don't know whether Bitcoin is ready yet, because I didn't see that bull div come in on momentum. This, to me, looks like a MACD momentum coil, and these are really dangerous. Because what'll usually happen is it goes flaring up one side and then comes screaming down the other and just slams everybody out. So, considering 38.2 is all the way up there, I could easily see this thing come up. It's probably going to go after that liquidity pool there and then just come slamming down and seeing if they can just flush out a bunch of people. So be forewarned, that's sort of what I would be thinking. The good part about this, because the price where it is relative to the 50% rule, this is actually a really good example of sort of like little old ladies where they could just slowly go in and nibble away, nibble. And, like 0.5% of your portfolio, your stake you work with. And you can buy like 10 of those and you still don't break the 5% risk rule max. So in this kind of case here, I don't know exactly what the bottom is going to look like. But if you start coming in here, and even if the bottom is a little bit lower here, right? You can see that, come on, you. You can see that, the 50% rule is not moving a hell of a lot. Like hell, I can take it all the way down there. Big FU. 50% rule is still sitting at $1.80. So if you're coming in here at 80 cents, your double's $1.60. So you got a pretty good shot at getting that double level and getting that free coin. So I don't mind names like this. I think it's, I'll say location. Yeah, we're good to go on location. Indicator confirmation. No, don't really like the look of this. I would like to see that div confirm itself, so break out through the top here. But then, like I said, what usually happens is you have a big slam down the other side. And so what you really want is, the slam down the other side to just be not so violent, right? Hopefully we get like a nice breakout. The bull div is confirmed. So there's the div. Then the pullback is a muted one, and maybe we come in off of that trend line. You get your W, and away you go. There's the trade. So still early, but good location. So we're seeing this kind of repeatedly. Remember we talked about Bitcoin? I think you're seeing the same thing here. We're at location. Now we're just waiting for those divergences. And then we'll start hunting actual W's. And on this particular one, I think it makes it really easy with the trend line, right? Because that trend line is so well defined, it's really easy. Got to have that trend line broken. W. See, look at this. This is where people get killed with these concept. They'll come and they'll buy here. All right, wait, we go get, and then just get smacked down and you get your heart broken. So what we really want to see is get that damn thing on the other side of the trend line, then put in a W, and then we're ready to rock and roll. Okay. Make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Good. I'll throw that in there. What's next?
Next is Solana, SOL.
This is, whenever I think of this, I think of, you described it so casually and yet so perfectly when you talked about the guy who built this thing. What did you call him? I thought it was so perfect. Do you remember that, Nick?
I don't know what I called him.
It wasn't a name. He just said he was like the perfect nerd or something.
He was
like that.
like one of I don't know. I think I probably said that he was like very kind and smart and nerdy.
Yeah, I mean,
something along those lines. Which
yeah.
I mean, he's brilliant, and he seems to be, in all accounts, he seems to be very, very nice as well.
Right. Okay, so enough of that. I just remember you made the reference. It was so cute before. I guess the problem I have with this guy here is I don't like the fact that he is making these lows, but we don't have any divergence. If anything, this looks like another one of these damn momentum wedges. So you can see we were heading up here, and then we've got this here. We haven't gone through this low yet here. So actually our wedge is like right here. So you can see it's coming up to the top of the wedge here. How this resolves is going to dictate, obviously, policy going forward. So these lows here are higher than these lows here. These lows here, clothesline basis, are lower than this low here, but this tail is pretty big. Awfully tough for me to I can't even make really the because really ideally what we want to see with divs is we want to see just really nice and clean. So lower lows, and I want to see higher lows, which we do have, but I would have preferred to see this thing just bang, break out through the top there. Then we go, yep, the div is it. So we don't have that yet. If anything, what you want to see is give us that big blast off up top here to do that. I guess what I don't like is this is kind of odd trade location. It's just sort of floating out there in no man's land. If we use sort of the 1 year premise, even a year ago, right, that's these lows here. So, damn, that's a huge reload zone, eh? So big. I guess they didn't even really bring it against those lows. I guess there was enough buy orders left over off of sort of that Bedenkopf check level that supported price. But you can even see how it dipped into that level. They got rejected. Then it came down again, closed down in there, probed a little lower. Keep in mind the next key support level is going to be that low in there. So they probed a little lower. Buyers came back. Buyers trying to come back. I don't know. So, if we change this to a line chart, it's really easy. Lower highs and lower lows defines a bear market. So I have to say, don't really see an uppie here just yet. Because this reload zone is so huge, I do like the Bedenkopf check off of that high. That's a huge playground. I wouldn't be in a big hurry to call a bottom here. If anything, this is going to have to sauce or bottom out. Kind of, I guess, like you see here, 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows. It's going to take some time. If anything, maybe we get counter trend rallies, a couple of them. Things like a push up into here, then a pullback, something like that, and then start turning. So you get that sauce or bottom kind of thing. This is going to take a while to turn, if it does. Right now it's pointing down. The one good part about this, though, is actually, let's see if you guys know what this is. What kind of chart pattern does this look like right here? We just zoom in on this right here. Right here and right here. What does that look like?
3 drives?
Yeah, harmonics. That's not bad. Yes. What I was sort of going for, just really, really simple chart patterns. This is what I would call a descending wedge.
Oh, sure.
I don't know whether you've ever heard that expression before.
Yep.
So something along those lines. Is that a 127 off of that? It might be, but yeah, I don't know. But that's a good eye. Did you enjoy the harmonics module on the level 3?
I did. Igor even complimented me on finding a correct shark.
Oh, sweet. Oh, sharks are good, man. You make a fortune trading sharks. Nice. Well, let me know. That's cool. Yeah, I got a feeling you're going to make some killer dough, dude. Killer dough. All right. So anyway, descending wedge is that his? Let's see if Derek can answer this. Is that inherently bullish or inherently bearish?
It's bullish.
Oh, okay. Very matter of fact. And he's correct. That actually is a very bullish sign. I guess the question I would have here are, do they fall back asleep? You can see the bull was waking up here, eh? Kind of going, hey, I'm here, and the bears were kind of falling asleep. It actually looks like the bears have fallen asleep, eh? So just really the question is, can that bull wake up and take over here? So, I mean, you've got a reload zone, you got a descending wedge. If anything, I'd probably be inclined to let the wedge break out. And since this is lower lows and that's higher lows, maybe that's our bull div. So if anything, you kind of want to see this descending wedge break out, get that MACD up through there so you get your indicator confirmation. And then any kind of bullish, it might be a bot that you have to trade to get in on that. But if you're lucky, and he pulls right back down against the lows, maybe you get a nice W or something down in there on a reload zone. That's not a bad looking idea. So why don't we go location? Yes. Still no indicator confirmation, and we don't have any price structure. We're not close enough there yet. And then also too, probably along these lines, let the breakout happen. You notice that I suppose if we change this back to a candle, we can kind of see this could take a while. What I think's gonna happen here is this is the trade that's setting up now. So you see 1, 2, 3. So we get the W over here, away we go. But you can see we're gonna bang into a major resistance level up here, and that's probably like Colin's pump chaser zone kind of idea. In this case, it would be dump chaser zone. Where's Colin? There he is. So yeah, so you can see, Mr. Gann would just simply say, look for that 50% level as your technical objective. That's normal. But, Colin's, if this is a bull market, you can oversee over here. To get in on the bull, Colin likes to get his people to hunt this 38.2 to 50% retracement area. It's not a bad level to get in on a trending market. It also works on the downside as well. It's exact the same logic, just going the other direction. So, and actually usually I like to color these like teal. So you could very easily see that we have a situation where you get your rally, and this might be, what was the other one that we were talking about that's like this? Because this is what, 80 some odd dollars. And notice Colin's pump chaser zone is right into a double of that. So not only is this a technical reason for this thing to fail here, but it's also a very logical level that you're going to find that people are going to be wanting to take profits and establish those risk-free trades. So that makes sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Completely.
So we'll grab that. Next. What do you think? Is this fun?
Yeah, I like it. We're actually sticking to somewhat of a schedule for once. It only took us 36 weeks, but
that's not bad, eh?
Ripple.
Cripple. Oh goodness. XRP, right? XRP.
Correct.
USDT. What was the news I heard about these guys recently? I seem to remember there was some news.
Everybody seems to think that they're going to beat the case, and
that's still
also,
going on, eh?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, as far as I know, it's still going. And then there's a lot of people that think it's going to be some sort of new SWIFT system or something like that. So
actually, I saw this funny video that the Russians were using this thing as a SWIFT replacement or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's
not sure if that's a bullish fundamental driver right now, but
I thought it was interesting that.
I mean, but seemed like a lot of speculation around it, so it's getting in the news. So I guess that's positive. Right?
The irony of it all for the history buffs is they say that the Soviet Revolution happened because the Tsar at the time wouldn't allow the central bankers into Russia. And the central bankers funded, the Rothschilds and all them. they funded the Lenin and the Soviet Revolution to knock what's his face out of power. Was it? Is his name Nicholas? I can't remember.
I think it was Tsar Nicholas II
Yeah.
or something.
So how ironic, eh? I mean, there's plenty of conspiracy theories going on about the damn central bankers and what they're up to these days, eh?
Yeah.
One thing, actually, I hope that made you guys happy was how the EU Parliament basically told Christine Lagarde to go something, something, something. I don't want to get myself into trouble. Not like I haven't already, eh? But I thought that was kind of cool because they could have very easily balked and done whatever the banksters wanted over there in Europe to totally put the kibosh on crypto, and the democratically elected representatives stood their ground. So that was kind of cool to see. Anyway, I guess in this one here, what I see is this looks like a very powerful momentum wedge is forming here. I mean, this goes back a while, eh? We can go all the way. I mean, hell, I don't even know where. I mean, something along those lines. I don't even know where you start this. Maybe even along there. You know what's really interesting is, and actually this thing's been around for a while. There's better places to look at this thing. Let's see. There you go. There's a bit more data. So actually interesting. So we're still not even anywhere near the old highs. It's just, if anything, this is a graphic illustration just to show you how crazy the 17-18 bull market was. I mean, even now, a lot of these names are just a shadow of what they got to through that insanity. So what do you make out of something like that? I guess, we always say the longer the channel, the bigger the run. The only problem here is this sure looks like it's sort of like in no man's land, eh? I mean, if I was just going to do simple reload zones. I go like that. So, I guess way up here, this is Mountain Man. I don't know, like you want to make money from trading. I guess you got to wait for these dips all the way down into here. That would have been tough. So, I mean, how do I say this? Mountain Man, he loves to make money on this kind of stuff, right? Where it just zips down, zips up, and he, grabs a free position, then, does it work its way back down? If it does, he's gone. So it looks like Mountain Man's been probed quite a few times. So I don't know whether Mountain Man really has that much validity here because they just keep making lower highs and lower lows. I suppose if you really want to see if this thing actually is a bull, we probably need to have this level up here taken out in earnest. So, it's sort of there. It's not something I really would get excited about. I'd much rather put my money to work on a new idea than something like this. Because it's literally, this is a toss of the coin. It either pops up here, A, B, C, D, rally up into these highs up here and here, right? We run into resistance there. Or we crap out. We probably have to come back down against that low there and that low there. So literally it's just a coin toss. So it's not really something that really gets me excited to go and take a risk on. I think there's way better ideas to look at. Coming out of this top, it looks like this level's been respected quite a bit. So I do think that this is probably your line to pay attention to. So boom, look at this huge head and shoulders war right here, failed. Came back, traded to it again. Look at this, what a great analogy of don't take a trade until you get a W on the other side of the trend line. Hey, look at that, rallied up, then came back down, then up, then am I up? Nope, and then up, and then nope, oh geez, all the way back down to the bottom. and back up, then up, then down, then up, then up. Oh, geez, yeah, maybe we're getting something here. I don't like how the push higher here is on like no volume too. That's a little suspicious. And not really a divergence either. No. So no divergence. If anything, you know what this kind of looks like to me is another one of these, but it's so cockeyed. I don't really like these, but it almost looks to me like there's some sort of magic line, like right through there, maybe a little bit lower, something like that. It looks like there's some significant level there. Might be a fib. Oh, I see. Well, I suppose there's a massive market structure level there. And probably actually, you know, this is probably a really good example of if this market structure, this defines one side of the trading range. So to come up with a price target, all you do is replicate this range on the other side. So that's just extensions, 200%. So that actually paints a target all the way down here. Interesting how that's against 88.6. So, this is pretty wishy-washy. Wishy-washy. If anything, what I'd like to see is give me that dump here so we can paint a lower low in price but don't dump any lower in momentum, right? And then that will start allowing us to draw divergences. I suppose, it won't be a divergence if this thing breaks out here. So you got like a little bit of a momentum push here. As long as this thing keeps making higher highs and higher lows, then okay, go with the momentum. But this isn't really a trade I would be too interested in. I'm gonna say, oh god. I mean, I because it is at this reload zone, we have to say that location is good. I just don't think I have indicator confirmation yet to get too excited about. I mean, it's trying to. It really is. Because you can see this low here, which is a higher low in price than these lows here. This is a higher low in momentum. And we did break out here. And we haven't broken through there. So I'm going to say, you know what this is? This is... if it gives you a half decent W on the other side of this trend line, I think there's a trade there. Sloppier than sloppy, but yeah, I think what you would have to do is see. I don't think this is enough, right? There is this bottom here, but I just don't think that's enough. This is close. It's close. You can really see that there's a lot of coins out. I mean, gee whiz, this thing's very herky-jerky. Yeah. So this is the kind of thing that if I was gonna take this trade, I'd kind of go like, I don't know, maybe 60-70% odds. If this thing craps out, it's gonna come right back along this trend line. So if you're gonna take that W, it's a big one. It means you got to risk all the way down against this low here. And that could mean this thing just walking along the trend line. So just, anxiety central. And you'd want to at least see something like that, which, no, that doesn't set up a good trade metric at all for me. So I couldn't justify that trade. No, no. This is a tough one. It's not something that I would endorse as doing, but yes, it's in trade location. Yes, it's trying to work a divergence that's uglier than sin. It's just awful. Yes, it's broken out of a trend line and it's trying to W on the other side of the trend line, but uglier than sin. And no volume confirmation. So what do you say?
Doing nothing is okay.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to like, how do we do the boxes?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I mean, technically it does meet the boxes. We do have a div here. In fact, actually there's a double div here. Technically we are in a reload zone. Technically we have broken the trend line. But geez, I just don't feel comfortable about this trade. So it's a tough one, eh?
Yeah.
What do you think we say here, Nick?
Probably just that we don't have a true nice W on the other side. We don't have that structure. But I think you have to say that you have the other two, even if they're ugly.
Yeah. So maybe go check for the first two and put bracket in the notes ugly. But if it rallied, it wouldn't shock, because the interesting thing is 79 cents, right? So our $64,000 question, can we see $1.60? So where's our low? And actually, this is interesting, right? Because this is really a triangle. It's a massive triangle. So they usually say that triangles break like 2/3 the apex, eh? So that would be something like there. So maybe that's it. 2/3 the apex, and this was a head fake. Oh, look at that. It's just trying desperately to hold in here. Actually, and that fascinating, right? How that trend line, right? This is a good example. Trend line is support. Now trend line is resistance. And you can see how that trend line is just stopping any kind of attempted rally. So, just, I'm going to say messy. Just ugly. But technically, if it could get up through the top here, then I think you actually have a pretty well-defined risk, right? If it can get up through here, then I think you just simply say, I'm going to buy on a stop. I'm going to risk against this low. And 2-to-1's my risk reward. Takes partial profits at 2-to-1, which is basically a test of the old highs. And this was nothing more than just a huge fractal, which could be, if anything, maybe a pop against all these highs for the liquidity. Gives you that fill up there. And then move to your stop to scratch on remaining and just ride the rest and see where it takes you. So that's probably, this is kind of like threading a needle right in here, just grabbing these lows. I suppose that little, can you see how this is a narrow sideways channel down in here? So if you had the balls, this is really the level to get long, eh? Right down in here, you see that channel? And then boom, breakout, confirm the channel. That's the level. So what do you think the odds are that this day was a reload zone tag to give you a fill against that level?
100%.
And there you go, eh? 78.6. This is, we call this setup a shark setup in our library. If you ever get that, it's just killer. So, there's your killer trade. Took a while to find it, but there it is. So, what do you do up here? It's a tough one. They say wicks and tails like to be eaten, so maybe you could probably reload zone this and work a bid. Notice 78.6 takes you right into that level again. So you could probably work a bid off of that level. What is that? 66 cents. And then what would that give you as a double? $1.20, eh? Say $1.25. So that's up into that area there. That's probably more, yeah. So that $1.25. Well, we just want the double. It'd be a great risk reward, like 4-to-1. But I do like that, as a nice stab up in there. So probably if you're sitting there at home right now and you're like, okay, well, do I go and buy some or do I just wait? I actually like the idea of working stink bids against this tail right in here if you wanted to participate. But this looks to me like it's just a trading range. If anything, what I would almost want to wait for, see if you can get a pullback and get a nice little W down there. And then you get like, oh man, like one of these kind of trades. That would be cool. So, okay. I've talked too much about this one. Hopefully that helps. Cripple. Jeez, I can't believe we're still talking about Cripple. How many coins are out on Cripple? There must be over 1 trillion.
A lot. I can tell you in a second. 100 billion. No, 48 billion in circulation out of a total of 100 billion possible.
Well, that's not that bad, I suppose. In this world. Okay, who's next on the hit list?
Dot.
DOT USDT. Woo, hello. Damn. Stone cold. Hey, did you guys see that Ave? Jesus, that thing looks perfect.
Yes. You're rubbing salt.
Okay.
You're rubbing salt in the wound, Brian. I was at work today when it hit a level.
Well, that's cool that you're now good enough though that you can actually respect that. So, but I'm not rubbing salt in the wound. I was actually quite surprised. Maybe we'll get to it later on. Anyway, so and you know how many times have I told you guys this? Do you remember me saying it to you guys?
Hold on. Do I remember you saying that W's form at the 786 all the time?
I mean, it's crazy. You can literally see it happening right in front of our damn eyes there. This is so cliche. If you're watching this for the first time, hit the like button, subscribe, ring Colleen's bell, all that kind of fun stuff. See, is there anybody over there? Oh, we got 20 people over there. Hey, look at all that. Hey, Adam. Adam's coming along nicely. Great to see you. Hey, there's that great Del Moody. The SEC has crippled Ripple. Well, that's probably why it's going sideways. Hey, Joshua. I think somebody said that there's a surf town in Portugal that they're trying to find a place near. So you can go surfing. So I expect you to be giving surfing lessons if we get that place. Anyway. Okay, so back to our story. Oh, here we go. Almost got derailed. Focus, Brian. Focus. Location. Check. That's a great location. Damn. I might even just go buy some of this. I don't know. Is this on Trex? I don't know whether these guys are on Trex.
Focus.
Is it?
I feel like this is acceptable.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. I gotta place an order. I'll be right back.
I'll put in the spreadsheet. Brian, buy this.
Okay. So when it jumped out at me, and this is really so I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen here, boys and girls, but I see this all over the market. This is scary. Can you see this momentum coil here? There's gonna be some fireworks. I don't know what's going on, but holy for holies, you can see we're building to something here. So like I said earlier, usually the way these coils resolve is there's a big blast off in one direction and then we come slamming back the other way. So we'll see how this plays out. Be forewarned. If anything, this might be a really good sort of case study for you to follow. Okay, let's see what happens with Beamish and these crazy ass momentum coils. You know, it looks like there was one over here. We can see we did that. And we were doing like that. And I mean, it's not the best one, but nonetheless, we broke. Maybe even like that. Then we have the big move one way and then a wicked snapback the other direction. So and then we have the big move down and then woohoo, huge move up. So be forewarned. Something actually here's probably even a better one. There to there, and then there to there. So here we had the big move up, right, and then the snap back. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily, in this particular case, the move up was solid and the snap back wasn't much. So that's cool. But just we're building to something. Something is about to happen here. So that's good after a period of kind of low volatility. Little suspicious that the volume is as weak as it is. But quite often off of these levels, you'll get the breakout and then the volume will actually start pouring in. So, I mean, ideally we would prefer to see volume pouring in ahead of time, volume divergence. Those are awesome signals. But sometimes it ain't. Sorry?
I was just gonna say I was just looking at the chart myself, and what Nor just said I had just seen. It looks like we just confirmed a bullish divergence on the daily RSI yesterday.
Well, that's cool.
So I know we're looking at MACD, but
yeah.
MACD.
Well, RSI is a
MACD.
slightly different perspective. MACD is based off of moving averages. RSI is based off of relative position given a reporting period. Yeah, so these lows here versus these lows here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Not bad. If anything, this is, we teach the level oneers with Williams percentage R. That's probably a really good notion here to keep in mind. So you can really see on the RSI the huge war that's going on at the 50 line there. And quite literally, this is the definition of a bull or a bear. So underneath the 50 line, it's basically this is a bear market. And if we can accept, you can see all the way even back here, right? Whoops, I kind of screwed that up. Back here. If we can accept above the 50 line, that's a bull market. So we had little tests of the bull along the way. So the fact that it is trying to W out and break out here through the 50 line, through all these highs, that's a pretty bullish indication. And also too, actually this is a really good application. You can see it going both ways. So you can see the bear div off of the highs there, right? So a really good example of that. Should have been very, very cautious up here. So, and really cute, I don't know whether you guys can see this, you get these cute little W's in RSI right at the bottom there. Those are wicked powerful signals. So, yeah, lots of good information in RSI, that's for sure. Also, too, you could even argue that the moving average itself is in a bit of a divergence here with price. Don't see that every day. So there's a lot of very, very bullish anecdotal information here. I guess the way that I would look at this, and that's kind of like through that 50 line kind of thinking, is momentum is coiling and there could be a big explosive move here. The only question is, where are the buyers? Why are people not actually stepping up and buying this thing? Is this one of these kind of things that a new protocol is going to come along that's using this and that's going to drive demand for this thing? That was not rhetorical.
I mean, they're constantly building. I haven't kept up with a lot of the protocols coming out on Polkadot or Kusama lately.
Oh, that's what this is Polkadot?
Yeah.
And is this the one that they sort of bid for projects, and if the project gets approved, they go to the big board, and if it's sort of like still in a test phase, they do the Kusama?
A lot of people think of it that way. They will be two completely different blockchains. I don't like to think of it as like a test net. I don't think Kusama is like a test net to DOT. I think it's its own thing, but it is thought of that way in the public generally.
Okay, well, anyway you shake it, this is one where I think we can say, especially with your RSI, it might even be interesting to look at OBV and see what it's actually doing here. Let's see, I think, yeah, there we go. So did this go into divergence here? Not quite, eh? Almost, but not quite. Nice to see the bulls. They're trying to be awake here, so that's kind of good. You don't want to see those bulls fall asleep. But, wow. And actually, so, when in class yesterday, the level 3ers are kind of like, shouldn't we have a module on volatility studies, Brian? It's sort of like it's way overdue. But if anything, here's a really, really good application of Sjord's, what do we say? His liking of using Bollinger Band studies on RSI to sort of give you an idea of when price pressure is compressing on itself and it's about to move. Market's about to trend again versus a scatterbrained herky-jerky price action that's typical of like sort of mid-move. So you can see here how the Bollinger Bands squeezed together here, and the RSI W'd out there actually in an oversold condition. Willie, beautiful W there, eh? Holy moly. And what a fantastic bull div there in MACD. So, and you can see, look at the result. Holy moly, what a rally. So, lo and behold, look at the compression in this RSI study. I mean, here you don't really want to touch it. But notice the bands start to compress in here. And this has been compressing now for what? Basically since the start of the year. So, again, just another reason. Whoa! There's so much stuff here. This is crazy. So, what do we call this kind of profile? When I do a square like that.
A pretty full.
Yeah,
profile.
one word and one word only. That's a full profile. That thing is telling me it's ready to go explore a new price range. So, yeah, and interesting, like right down at the bottom of value, right? This thing, there are just tons of buyers down here saying, you want to take it down here, we'll be more than happy to buy. So, gee whiz, there's a lot of very bullish looking image there. Fascinating. So what do you say to you good folks? It looks like it's a buy. I think the magic number, there's a couple magic numbers here. The really slick trader is going to want to try and be long from $18.76, one tick above this high. And the slower trader is going to want to be long off of that level there, $19.57. Either of those levels, I would be more than happy to have my retail customer base long this thing.
Sorry, what were those? I want to write them down.
I think I think for the purposes of this community, right? Because you could probably get a fill here if you're patient. The magic number should be 1876. And I think your stops want to be below $16 even. And notice this candle low here, 1874. So the market came into that level and they just bought it up. If this thing does break out through the top here, then if you want to join the party, all you do is you draw your reload zone off of that low. And notice there's 61.8, which is basically that breakout level. 78.6 is this candle body lows. So I like the idea of maybe scattering your order, maybe break this into like 3 or 4 trades. So one of them, you're going to just buy that 1876. Another one you're going to buy on a stop through that 1957. Then you're going to, hopefully the market pops up top here. Then you're going to draw your reload zone, and to add to the trade, you're just going to wait patiently for either like a bullish bot, 3 higher lows to set up a bot add, or just keep your eyes peeled for a pullback into reload zones and any kind of candle pattern you just add on that. That's it. This is good looking to see. It's about time these darn things started to turn here. So I think that, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a little bit more shenanigans here, but gee whiz, that profile looks full. That thing looks like it's saying, okay, I'm ready to go back up now. So, yeah. That's cool. And then remember, you want to keep it really simple? Just buy a damn 78.6 because that's where the double bottom's going to come off of anyway. So, all right. That one looks good, That one does not look bad at all. Good to see. Guess what we'd really like to see is this thing pop. You want to just get a nice pop up here. maybe this thing carves out like a big head and shoulders here. So we go round, then big pop, and then the big pop here confirms all of these divs, and then your reload zone pullback is probably just going to be like a Wyckoff check of that original breakout. That would be, I think, the best scenario. But for the time being, that looks pretty healthy. And it feels as though risk, now that the Fed's out of the way, now maybe Mr. Jerk in there in Eastern Europe is going to calm down a little bit and make peace with the world. Maybe we can have a little bit of a rally window here in some risk assets and make us some money. All right, next up on the hit list, how many did we get through tonight? We must have gotten through quite a few, eh?
We are currently through 7 of them.
7, all right, well, let's try and do 10.
We got good old Luna.
Luna! Wow, all right. Luna.
This might be the first one that's not in a great location spot.
Oh boy. Okay. So not all is green and rosy in crypto land. Yeah, this looks a little bit bothersome. Poor old Sjord. Mind you, the great part about Sjord is he's so nimble. He was in there buying off of this bottom and made a bunch of money, and I think he hopped off and took some profits up here.
Or are we actually saying that this does have location, momentum, and some structure forming, but it's not on the buy side?
Yeah, it's bearish. You know, I'm a little worried. I'm always worried about Do Kwon sort of writing checks that are, you know, like he has an ego. There's no doubt about that. And he got into some crazy bet with these guys that the price was going to be higher 1 year from now. And I don't know whether they're going to come along and drive this thing into the ground just to piss him off or something like that. But anyway.
I mean, I think Do Kwon's got more money than those guys.
Well, we'll see what happens.
That'd be my guess. I obviously don't know, but
yeah. I suppose if we're just studying like real fast trend lines, I'm not quite sure if I want to go off of that candle low. Did we just lose that? Maybe. You can see the bear div now. He's confirmed here. So I remember we were talking about this publicly the other day, and I was kind of like, well, does this bear div actually confirm? And I have to say, that looks as confirmed gets. Boosh. As well, too, you know, the RSI fans, they also have a confirmed divergence, it looks like. That low in there is where are we here? 55, 53. And we got to 55.93 and 55.92, 54.84. Uh-oh. So if price does slip here, then RSI will go into confirmed div as well. Willie never did get stupid. Look at that. We got 21.85. We came close, but we never did really get stupid. Interesting that he was actually in divergence from all the way over here. So this price action has been weak all along. Mind you, that huge div would confirm 27.36 there, and right now we're at 27.88. So that still hasn't quite confirmed. You can see somebody's got to come along and punch this thing in the nose. It's literally this is one of these scenarios where she's standing up on the ledge. Do you guys ever see? Do you ever see the movie Forrest Gump? Where Forrest's girlfriend, she's all drugged out and shit in the 70s, and she's standing up on the ledge, and she's looking over the ledge of the building, and she's like, "Do I jump? Do I jump?" So that's exactly what this image is right now. And thankfully, in that movie, she didn't jump. But you see this quite often in the markets. Basically, this thing's set up. If somebody comes along and sneezes, she's heading back down. Now, is somebody going to sneeze? Quite often, the sneeze just never comes. But I think you can see that if we sneeze, I think this thing could get whacked pretty hard. So we'll see how it goes. There is the double top in price. So as Nick said there a moment ago, I mean, ironically enough, we're here to give you levels. So my hunch is we close below this level right in here. What is that? Low. 85.34, 85.34 area. And this also is a really good example. Derek, and actually it's so funny when you quiz Hogue on it now. He's getting all shy. But if we accept into value here, about how often do we actually have to go and trade right back down to value low?
About 80%.
Yeah, it's a pretty high number. Also, too, interesting that basically is Mountain Man level. And I wouldn't be surprised that this is actually carving out a massive head and shoulders. Something like that. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So don't be shocked if we have to come back down and wash these lows. Kind of looks like that. So just, be forewarned. This probably, and it's interesting that this guy's had a pretty good rally while the other DeFi names really haven't, eh? Like, didn't you say that Danny's coin, doubled today?
Yeah, but I mean, it did go from 70 down to $1.10.
$70?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I guess that one was due for something.
Well, yeah. Okay, so I guess, just what I saw out of that Aave, what I saw out of that DOT, and I don't know whether Danny's coin's relevant here or not. Was it ICE or something like that?
Yeah, it's ICE.
Is that it there? ICE dollar?
It's probably any of those, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe money's coming back into this thing, I suppose. We probably should be looking for bullish divergences, eh? I mean, isn't that what good technicians do? Yeah, look at that. I mean, they're there. So, and look at that. I mean, hey, somebody's coming in and actually buying this thing. You'd really like to see more than 47,400 traded on a day. And we did 45,000. So, interestingly enough, not quite a breakout. So, who knows? Probably something like, if there is a dead cat bounce, probably something like into there might be doable. So we'll see how that goes. But I guess what I'm just saying here is looking at that DOT, looking at that Aave, it's not so much that Luna's a sell as it is maybe more that the other names are just have to play catch up and they're going to get some money poured into them, and maybe you just even see like a rotation of money maybe out of Luna and into some of the other DeFi names. I could see that. But at the same time, too, I'm always worried about guys that have really big sort of egos in this space and, do they get cut down to size? If I'm not mistaken, I seem to remember this whole dump here was because the actual network was hacked or something like that. So, these things are always subject to something like that. Is one of these new protocols that they just brought online, does it have a sneaky backdoor or whatever, and then a whole bunch of people lose money and all that kind of stuff? I mean, that definitely is a possibility. And now with this, if anything, maybe these guys knew that there was a flaw somewhere and they were about to attack this thing and knock the shit out of it. And so they goaded Do Kwon into this bet, and he didn't realize he's walking into a trap. Who knows? Egos in this world. So, anyway you shake it, definitely not a buy here whatsoever. Couldn't even consider it with a 10-foot pole. Having said that, if it does sort of stabilize and start to make, 3 higher highs and 3 higher lows, then I could start entertaining trend continuation. But as long as these bear divs are all floating out here looking like this, there's no way in hell I could buy that. Just couldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So, if anything, you want to say location, ironically enough, up against old highs. It is technically. And you know, there was a guy on the site the other day who was posting a 4-hour short setup on this thing off of this Empire top here originally. So hats off to you. I can't remember who that. I think it was that one good dude. I think he was posting a 4-hour short setup on here. So hats off to you, dude. One good dude. You definitely were thinking in the right direction. So if you're going to write down a level, say location check, indicator confirmation check, but this is a short. And the short level is 85.34 or 85.33 because you want to trade one tick through the low. So there you go. All right, I'll give you that one.
Colored it red so we know which direction.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get rid of that.
Oh, no. I colored it red, sorry, in the
okay.
spreadsheet. So.
And then I'll give you this link because that was just an image. So there's the actual link. Okay, next up on the hit list.
Got your favorite, Doge.
Man. It's funny how this guy just doesn't talk about this thing at all anymore, eh? Now he's challenging Vladimir Putin to wrestling matches.
He definitely doesn't have a chance there.
Is that guy? He's almost larger than life, eh?
He's everywhere, man. He's everywhere.
Oh goodness! I tell you though, man, fuck. And it's surprising, right? Because so many friends of mine who are in the brokerage industry. Man, fucking, the people used to sue the brokers right, left, and fucking center. We used to have the IDA always coming down on us. Can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. And then this guy does this. And how does he get away with it? It just doesn't make any sense. It's not really fair. Oh, well. Do I have any buy signals here at all? Maybe. I mean, I suppose we could argue it definitely is in trade location. And the irony of it all, just like I was saying off of that dot earlier, the buy level is probably going to come in at like 16 cents. That wouldn't surprise me. So, this is a good example. Little old ladies, if you are interested in this name, we are at or below reload zones. I don't have a problem with you buying, but as you can see, you might have spent up all your ammunition all over here, and now you're sitting here going, now what do I do? And the simple answer is, if you risk more than 5% of your stake, don't break more than 5% of what you got to work with. And sometimes it's because exactly like this. Because this thing just may never, ever rally back again. That's just the way capitalism works. And if anything, what a great analogy. What a great analogy. Don't chase. Just don't do it. So painful. If you ever hear Brian talking about changing his name to Sedona Euphoria, it's a really, really simple clue that, holy shit, maybe I better get the hell out of here. Oh, goodness. Actually, I don't think, we weren't working together when I was threatening to change my name to Sedona, eh?
No, that was on the
That was before.
Broiler Chicken shows a little bit before we got started.
So, I mean, it just goes to show how quickly the world can change in 1 year, right? So, anyway. So, can we say location? Sure. Why not? Give them a mark for that. Do we have any kind of divergences here? I suppose we had a situation where price was dumping into here. There was a bull div that formed here, but I think that rally was the expression of that bull div. Then we go an M out and crap out. And then there's an M in momentum. There's actually a bearish div right there. So, bullishness sort of there's the bear div. So, and actually you could even argue that M right there was probably a good short setup. Then we had another bull div form through here. And then, oh gee whiz, look at this. This is a mess, eh? So new highs through here, but then dump to new lows, clothesline lows. Then rally up, new highs in price. No new highs in momentum, though. Or very close. Then a confirmation of the bear div here. So that means this sets up another sell signal. So, and sure enough, here we are heading lower. It looks as though, I mean, the one good thing I like when I see an image like this, although what I see here is most of the smart money, I think, accumulated through here. And this blow off top phase was them taking profits. And the sad thing is when you see profiles that look like this, when we're way up top here, and in the school program we call these P's and D's. So hopefully you can see this just looks like a big letter D with all the profile down here. What this says is that the price has probably got to come right back down to this level. And every time Bitcoin has one of these fucking insano monster rallies, it's always the same thing. Always a profile looks like this, and we got to work our way right back down to value. It drives you crazy, and basically that's exactly what this is. Working our way right back down into value. 88.6 is also a Wyckoff check level there, so that looks like probably a pretty important level. Look left. Since we've gone through this low, look left, the next key support line is down off of these lows. So that's basically right back down into those value nodes. There's just nothing to do on this piece of shit. And it's so disappointing that this guy can get away with this. I don't know, it's baffling to me. So, lower lows in price. We got a little bit of a div trying to form in here. Mind you, that is a lower low in price there, though, isn't it? So no div there yet at all. If anything, we got to see another push to new low. There's not break to new lows. And then we'll start thinking, okay, maybe we got a divergence. So, just a big hurry up and yuck. So, you can say location, check, and that's about it. Yeah, that's probably how I have to leave it. Sucks. Probably best to even start watching something like this on a weekly chart. So I used to always tell the level 1ers when they first get into the education program, weekly W's, weekly W's. So you can see here, you can make this really easy on yourself. Do we have any signs of a weekly W there at all? Nope. The interesting thing is if you go back in here and you actually look at this, there were actually weekly W's to get you long off of the bottom. Yeah, something like this, down, up, down, breakout, and then down, up, down. Look at this tight fight in here. Breakout. So there's your weekly W's, and that's sort of what it looks like. Other exchanges prettier, but there's just nothing here yet. So fortunately, it's got to do nothing. Sucks. So that's that one. I suppose this thing, I wonder when it'll fall out of the top 10. Be interesting to place bets. All right, so there's the Doge. Boosh.
I mean, it's technically number 13 right now.
Oh, okay. But there are a bunch of stable coins that are up high?
Yeah, there's Tether's 3, USDC's 5, and Binance USD is 12. So there's 3 above it. So it would be right at number 10 if you don't count stablecoins.
Still sucks horse cocks.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the hit list?
Avalanche.
Avalanche. What's the symbol for that?
AVAX. AVAX.
This is one of your favorites, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like it. It's still seems like it's not that uppity right now, but
all right, so you can see this is a really good example of do I want to accept back into value. So you can see it punched its way into value here and then went, no, I don't want to be there. Then it came back down. Oh, no, I don't want to be in there. Oh, no, I don't know why. You can see it's fighting like the Dickens. And now the good part about it is we're getting close to the end of this study here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tags of this trend line. So if we can just double you out on the other side of this, I think you're good to go. Interesting how long ago this high was put in, eh? That's, what is that, about 4 or 5 months ago? Where is, I guess, so there's a year ago. So that's probably those lows that we got to work with. So did bottom off the mountain. This is a really good example where you can see if we fail here and we cannot break this trend line and W out on the other side of it, then what does that sort of look like? Derek, what does that kind of look like to you?
Oh, I'm looking at the volume profile. What does that pattern look like, or?
Yeah, well, maybe if I go like this and then like that, and then like that.
Head and shoulders.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of cockeyed. I know David, he really likes his head and shoulders nice and symmetrical. But I guess I'm thinking something like that, eh? So, and probably the best way to look at this is on like a log scale, like that, yeah. So, this will probably go like here to here. And then you just want to eyeball this. So,
You don't need to eyeball it anymore.
no?
It got fixed, remember?
Oh, son of a bitch. Look at that. Hey, cool. Okay, so there you go. If we lose the neckline here, right along here, then we're probably, and actually look at that. Right, in days gone, years gone by, we would call this a muak. Look at the size of that hole right in the profile there. So definitely need some attention down there. Something like that. So, interesting battle line here, right? If we lose it, then and we start closing a little below here, then my hunch is we got to dip all the way back down here. It's kind of cool how that works now. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. So, I just don't need that on there now. Interesting how we've rallied off of the lows here. You can see that it's not really a div, but I suppose if we change it to a clothesline, you can see that we made a lower low there, a clothesline, but higher lows here. A little bit of a div right there, right? Just very in the short term. I don't know whether that's on the candles. So this thing's trying like the Dickens. Like the whole damn risk market just turned up on a dime here today. I think, believe it or not, when I was listening to Chair Powell today, Chair Powell! Sorry. Excuse me. He came across as the U.S. economy is very, very strong. They had a dual mandate of strong employment with low inflation. The inflation was abnormally low for a very long period of time, so they were okay with inflation running a little hot, just as long as they had employment strong. Employment is very, very strong now. I think we've made that transition from the baby boomers into the millennial generation now. And so as a result, they can primarily focus on fighting inflation here going forward in the face of a very strong economy that doesn't need to worry about employment. So that's the message that I got from him. How that was actually created, the backdrop, the conspiracies, the planetary alignments, the baby eating on Jekyll Island, whatever the hell you want to excuse you want to use. The backdrop is the backdrop is the backdrop. And I got the impression that risk got a real sort of kick in the pants here today. that it's time for growth to grow. The only issue here is we got this lunatic running around Eastern Europe threatening to blow up the world. And ironically enough, if it wasn't for that situation, I actually think that the Fed might have actually even been more aggressive raising interest rates. So we'll see how things go. And I've often told people, probably the most important index you want to watch right now, and it's not even something in the stock market, although I would do yourself a favor and go pick up some of this FKWL, but that's another conversation for another day. But I would watch, I think it's HYG. Yeah, I'd watch this market. Yeah, so that's what I thought. If this market's happy, and believe it or not, I actually got the impression, the message from Chair Powell today that he actually thinks that this market is strong and it can handle interest rate increases. But if you see this market, and I think this market starts to get into real trouble next fall, not now. But as long as this market's pointing up and it's happy, then I think the risk market can do pretty well here. So I don't know what kind of legs we got here in the corporate bond market. We do have an inside bar reversal. It is harami. Interesting how, Willie was stupidly oversold. RSI actually has a nice divergence there. Don't quite have a divergence in MACD, so that's a little surprising. Got some nice buying volume coming in following that Fed announcement. So we'll see how this goes. If this reverses and actually bottoms and is feeling happier and happy-go-lucky, then I think we're beyond the worst of it. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's one more dip down here right around April 4th. And, remember we told you that one more FU in Bitcoin. Also keep in mind, too, like if I understand correctly, China is literally locking down whole cities because the latest variant of this sickness is actually getting completely out of control. So everybody's sort of forgotten. We're all yammering about Eastern Europe right now, and people have forgotten that there is this pandemic running around still unchecked, and I think the latest variant is about to hit us really hard. So ironically enough, it might actually be a function of us all being locked down again. Who knows? But if you're going to follow a market, I think this is the market you want to follow to find out if the crypto rallies and the rallies in risk assets and stuff are sustainable. Does this thing keep moving higher? If this thing starts rolling over and crapping out, then I think we're back in the shit and we got to be cautious again. So anyway, total sidetrack there. So, here I can see a 3-bar empire. Well, maybe empire is not the best term, but a 3-bar fractal. 3-bar fractal did come in reload zone. You could even make the argument reload zone within reload zone. So the trader's loading up here and taking shots here. I don't fault them for that. Not quite a div, but a huge div over here. And even, it looks like even a little bit of a massive div off of this rally up into here. So this is the kind of name that if this thing can just go, and we're on the other side of this trend line, you can see one day up and then back down. Then one day up and then back down. Then up. We got to just hang out up top here, put in a nice W, and away we go. So where's April 4th?
That actually might be a bot trigger too. If we can get a W on the other side of there, if you zoom out a little more. It looks like it came down right below Mountain Man, kind of right at that.
Yeah.
So it looks like it did wick below 66 or 2/3, but
it's close.
So I mean, it's close to a bot at least.
Yeah. I mean, this is where trading's more of an art form than a science. So it's sort of like that's so close that you might look at this. I mean, right as it is right now, there's nothing there. But what you might say is, okay, well, if these lows hold, then we get a W on the other side of this trend line. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lows or whatever, and then what I would be thinking is, what kind of target does this paint to the upside? So something like that. So do you actually trade the bot levels here? Well, it's up to you. Yeah, there we go. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if our anticipated W does come in sort of in here. I would personally like to front run this bot, but what I would do is I would use the bot targets as my objective. I think that's realistic. And actually what I see here is probably boom, boom, boom. So, be interesting to see if this happens relatively quickly. It might. But maybe this thing bottoms and then works its way, just bumps along like that. And we're done up top there in the middle of the summer. That would be pretty typical for crypto, something like that. So, you know what? We'll keep this on the screen. It's an interesting area on the chart, definitely. It's not cheap. Right, this is, if anything, I actually prefer your bot thinking because this is the top of value. Because if we do actually bottom here, you're not getting in on the cheap, but you are trading a trend continuation trade. And the question right here, like we said, is do we accept into value? If we do, then we have to go all the way back down to value low. Or are we going to, form a bottom here and accept above value, which will be our bot, which means that we're ready to explore a new level. Right?
Yep.
So, I guess the way I would say this is, and actually this is backwards. We have location for trend continuation.
Yeah.
Which is all right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I would like to see some firmness. So we're too early on the we got this nice. I mean, that's a nice bull div there. The only question is has that played itself out? Because it looks like there's a bear div up there now. Eh? So indicators, and if anything, this almost looks like another one of these damn coils. We're probably going to have a pop up here, then a slam down. So probably on the other side of that April 4th is when the trade actually sets up. So I think the way I would say it is trade location for trend continuation. Okay, how many more? I've been going there almost 2 hours, eh?
Gonna do one more.
One more. All right, and then we'll call it a day.
Mainly just because right at the beginning, Super Google Lee asked if we could do SHIB, and I was like, we'll get there tonight. That's like 12 in or 11 in, and so SHIB's next. So.
Hey, there you go. That's karma. Okay, what's the symbol?
Just SHIB, SHIB.
And is this the Doge derivative?
Yep, and it's pretty close to passing it.
Good example of are we going to accept into value here. The way that it dumped down into here, went all the way right down the middle of value, then back up, and here we are. We put in a market structure top right at the top of value. And, we talked about Doge there. Just wasn't much to get excited about on that thing, eh? So I'd be surprised if this thing would be a buy. Reload zone, we're definitely cheap. And if anything, great analogy that probably the bottom, whenever the hell it does come in, it's going to be off of that 78.6 there, eh? See that W right there? So could you have gotten a double off here and got yourself some free coins? That's, what number does that say?
2,300.
2328. And we made it all the way up to 3.5. Well, not even close. So, I guess you could make the argument the risk window is fairly well defined here. So we've got this big reload zone. And this zone. I love reload zones within reload zones. So it doesn't surprise me that this tail, when price dumped into there, was just gobbled right up. And then I suppose you can make the argument you have now this reload zone. So lots and lots of reasons for somebody to step up and defend this market. And probably the easy way to look at this is just simply say, if you get an M below this market structure here, so you can see we've broken through it. If this M's out here, then you know it's a new bear. Something like that. So coming in and buying down here, and it's getting it pretty cheap. It's a reload zone within reload zone off 78.6. And you'll know pretty quickly if this thing is shit. It has broken below this trend line. You really don't want to see that. So it's giving the early warning signs. It's not very happy. But the good part about this, like I said, is it's fairly easy. If we go an M out here, then you know whatever long idea that you're taking right now, it's toast. Probably also the same thinking going the other direction. So you see how there's a M top here, boom, 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 sell. If we W out on the other side of this trend line, it's a buy. So I think you make the argument that the bear has got the ball. They've driven it down into the bottom end of the range. And it's incumbent of the bull. The bull has got to step up here, get it back above this trend line, W out, and away we go. So there's a bunch of work that needs to be done here. This isn't looking good. Which is interesting, right? Because so many other stories do look good. And I think the bottom line here is that this isn't really a DeFi tier 1 kind of building a million different protocols on top of this network to take over the world kind of thing, right? Is it? Maybe it is.
No, it is absolutely not.
It's a meme.
It's just a meme, right?
I do think they added like a DEX on top of it or around it. Like they've been trying to build some stuff around it, but yeah, it's a complete meme coin.
Right. So, you know, the old expression is the longer the channel, the bigger the run. My hunch is, ironically enough, this channel probably defined, right? And quite often what I say is if you can just sort of roll that up to whatever the height of it is, that's probably the distance that it's going to go. But I'm not very good at doing those. But anyway, you get the drift. So ironically enough, you know, that's probably exactly where you should have been thinking for it to go. And there must be a way for us to do like fog and bombs that are measured off of how long they consolidate. There must be some sort of relationship there. I don't quite sure how that works. But my hunch is that this range here itself, right, probably that foggy level up there, was probably... In fact, somebody was even asking this on the site today about 16.88. I don't even know if it's even a real foggy level or not. I don't know. You know, somebody had asked, and I said, well, you know, we did have this funny little mathematical equation. Is 94 a fib number? I don't know whether it is or not. Is 106 a fib number? I know 113 is, 88.6 is, 8.77. So that's how you get that. So what I did was I back engineered and I said, okay, well, there's our equation to get all our foggy levels. So I'm going to plug 1688 and then just do the math backwards, and it gave me 94 as a fib level. You know, this would be interesting, Nick. You have all those Bibles of GAN levels and stuff. You ever hear them talk about 94?
I haven't. I can...
Or 106?
I can look through it eventually.
Yeah.
And see if I can find it, but I haven't yet.
Anyway, so that's the only way I know of to get that 1688. But anyway, kind of just mathematics, blah, blah, blah. But I wonder if we look at this range down here, whether some of these levels could have been predictable, especially like that move there against that range there. That looks like something that should have been respected. Yeah, so there's 877. I think that helps understand that level. And 1688 was all the way up into there. I wonder where 32 is. It's probably like up here somewhere. Anyway. So it's interesting how we double topped off of that 1688. Can I do anything on the way down? I might be able to. I haven't really been able to figure this out yet though, but maybe something along those lines. So it's 2.618 respected in here. Yeah, it looks like it got pretty chaotic. And then the next one's all the way down here, but that doesn't make any sense. I don't think we're going to go negative. So I'm not quite sure how to do that on the downside yet. Still haven't figured that one out. This might be off of this high back to that low. So we went up, down, down. Guess it would have to be. It would all depend on when this high was made. I'm just talking out my ass now, right? Sorry, wasting time. Up, down, up, down, up. Looks like that has to go off of that low there, right? So that might explain 2.618. Yeah, not really, eh? I don't know. I still have to work more on this foggy boggy stuff. I'm sure there is some sort of explanation as to why the market bottomed where it did, but not off of that. So, I don't know. What do you make out of that? Off of lower time frames, it looks like there's a fun little trade right in here. You can see there's a cute little double bottom down here. So I suppose if you're a risk taker, right, and you're like, well, Brian, I buy W's, I buy the bottom ends of ranges, I buy reload zones. There is a W. And actually, this is a cute little narrow sideways channel, too. Clearly, a whole bunch of trap bears right in that tail there. So if you're looking for a buy level, I'd probably throw my bid in off of that tail in there. Yeah, so... this probably has a better chance of giving you a trade than Doge. Yeah. Oh, well, lo and behold, look at what's going on here. 78.6, and there's the double bottom right off that 78.6 level. So, that's a pretty... I like these kind of risk windows. You know, it'd be interesting to pull up the order book, see if there's any icebergs or anything that are defending. But that gives you a pretty well-defined risk window in there. So, you know, you go and buy this level and you just say, look, I'm going to risk to a break of that low there. It's not a terrible idea, you know. This probably is a Linda Bradford Radke kind of trade where you're probably, if this doesn't work, I mean, it's interesting how we have 1, 2, 3. So we're coming up to this level. Do you want to just let this break out and then see if we can get a W on the other side? That appeals to the chicken shit in me. As well, too, you know, really, I could see a lot of professionals would just say, look, you know, there's your buy level. So, ironically enough, that is a little bit higher than where we are now. So you can let this thing break out. And like I said, just, you know, give me a W over here. Some kind of bullish pattern off of the original double bottom level. It would just give you more confidence that a bottom is in. And then, as I said there earlier, if we actually go out and M out here, something like that, and break down, then you know, oh boy, this could be trouble. Maybe we just get the hell out of there. Location, not bad. Indicator confirmation. Not bad. Divergence trying to form. Is that a div? Now, we had all these funny tails here. It's too bad, because that would have made a really nice div. This is definitely a clothesline div, but it's not a candle tail div. So it's close. If anything, this might be another one of these examples, right? if you look at this on a line chart, that's still making lower highs and lower lows. A little bit of a W right there, so that's kind of cute. So I guess the way I would look at this is location, cool. Indicator confirmation, it looks like we're a little bit early, but actually, this would be a good trivia question for you guys. Derek, what kind of setup is this that we talk about on the site? Whoops. Jeez, how the hell did I do that? There we go. Let's see if Derek knows. Does your nose knows? Oh, I did it again. Oh, well. Anyway, you can see it there. www by the something w.com. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
We got a W here, and a W here, and a W here, and a W here. What do we like to call those?
Oh, is that Devo?
Yeah.
Or Calino?
Calino, yeah. So, I mean, screwing the OBV up, I don't know why it keeps popping up there. But usually when you see all these Davos, usually when you see all these W's all come in unison like that, that's a pretty damn good looking floor. And the fact that you are in like a double reload zone, that's not a bad level to take a shot. It really isn't. Now, the person who's asking about this, are you thinking about buying this, or did you buy this like up here and you're just like, okay, Brian, when do I make my millions of dollars?
Or when can I get off the couch?
Yeah, exactly. Or out of the doghouse.
They did say they're a level 2er, so I hope they didn't buy the top of that.
Okay, well, yeah. And if you're a prospective buyer, I like how you're thinking here. I really don't mind it. I think that, like I said, there's so many markets through this that look like they've got some sort of FU move coming up here. I wouldn't fault you if you're just like, Brian, I'm just going to get through April 4th. You talk about it on the site videos as some sort of big celestial date that you'd want to bury your head in the sand until it's over. That might be a good idea. But are we closer to some sort of tradable bottom than the top? Absolutely. And could you get yourself a double that's like 22? So could we see over the next, say, 4 or 5 months, a rally up into this area to get yourself a double and get yourself some free coins? And then who knows where the hell this damn thing goes? I think that's doable. It's not unrealistic. So I'm going to say location good. I'm going to say because of the Davos, indicators are good. And actually, I really don't mind the price action here, Actually, I wouldn't have a problem strapping that on. So actually, there's 2 names that we looked at tonight that actually I feel comfortable buying. I love 78.6 as trade location. So what's that? 2266. I'm more than happy to be long this from 2266. You want to note that number down? Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Was it 56 or 36?
2250.
56.
I guess 56. This is 52, but anywhere in there is fine.
Okay.
2250, somewhere in that area. I'm happy to be long that from there. So, all right, boosh, we did it! Yay! 2 hours. 2 hours for 10 names. I think you said you would have been really shocked if we did more than 20 names.
Yeah, we didn't quite get 20, but hey, you know what? We've been averaging about 4 a night the last couple months, so I feel like we're doing okay.
Yeah, what the hell, eh? I worked my ass off there. Look at I was going. Hustle, 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 hustle. How much money do we make out of this? Nothing.
Got 2 ideas. So.
Do we want to?
15 people watching this video. That's almost funny.
Do we want to do guesses for this week?
Sure, why not? What the hell? So, gee whiz, all this bullishness. I think, yeah, see, there's the Ave. Jeez, that sure looks good. But we won't talk about him tonight. So where are we going to go this time next week? Look at these wild swings. Hey? My thinking actually is that we actually have to go through it down. But the problem is, are we right back up top by the time we get together 1 week from now? When's 1 week from now? The 23rd. Oh, that's actually when we should trough. So I'm going to have to do a -1 vote. And that's -1 is like, what, 5%? 3 to 5%?
Yeah, I think we said 2 to 5.
So -2 would be more than 5%?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'll stick with the -1. Anyway, that'll be my vote.
You want to go next, Eric?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a neutral, a 0.
0. All right. And Nick, what's going to happen here? You're the only one who really knows what the hell's going on here.
Oh, man. Don't put that pressure on me.
Oh, where did we put our numbers? Did we?
I just put them in there. I don't know why they're not updating quite
Something
yet.
went wrong.
So-
This is
Oh,
not
reload
reloading.
that, yeah.
It's uploaded on my. I can see it on my side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go down and to the right now. Because I added those extra columns for
Yeah,
those.
that's cool.
I'll pretty it up today, but
All right.
you know what? I think I'm bearish. I mean, given the fact that I own very, very little crypto right now, and I'm just honestly, I'm just kind of waiting until it's easy mode again. I don't care if it takes another year or two. It's just so much easier. I'm paper trading the hell out of the next year is the plan, and then when easy mode comes around again, make a bunch of money.
Okay.
But currently, I still think we come down a little. I won't go -2 this time. I'll go -1.
All right. So, a little bit of a cautious note from the gang here.
And I gave Ben a 2 because he's not here.
Sounds appropriate. And he'll be the only one to write. All right, Ben said that he is updating his little app here. So if you want the app, grab the screenshot, the little QR code here, and you can download it to your phone. And actually, we were a little bit more active there, so at least the top 10 names should be relatively updated and give you some half-decent levels to work with. And I'll also say that the real reason why I put this show together a year or two ago was because I really wanted to try and get a... where's the best place to show you this? To get a booth going for TRI in Decentraland. And we have a little Ethereum wallet address if you feel like helping us build that booth out. It's pretty darn expensive, and I'm not going to do any shopping until the market's calm. I suppose when we're in very, very difficult mode, according to Nick, I think, which is probably like next October, November. That's probably when I'm going to go shopping for my mana. So if you did feel like you got some value out of tonight, we'd love the contribution to try and help us fund that plot in Decentraland. As well, I suppose hit the like button, subscribe. I don't know where that button is. Ring Colleen's bell. I think it's Ring or Colleen or Nick. And feel free to stop by the website, therationalinvestor.com. What's super cool about the website these days is actually we've spent quite a bit of time getting my 1980s website brought into the 21st century. And I have to say I'm very, very impressed with the job Sjord, our TRI's CTO, the job that he's done bringing this concept of my breadth indications into the 21st century in sort of a PHP and Web 3.0 platform. And we've been following the breadth indicator, not only the histogram. The histogram gave us a really, really good indication of crypto market being completely washed out there back there a few days ago. Whenever you see this kind of indication where on the medium term we're oversold, and even on the short term we're oversold, you know that a pivot's going to come. And interestingly enough, I've seen a lot of crypto pivot here recently. And then also, too, our little breadth indicator has been a great little help. It's interesting how the broader crypto market has rolled over here. I'd be curious to see who is causing this to roll over. The top 30 breadth, and of course, we did the top 10 tonight. So this indicator tracks those names really well, and it's actually pointed rather bullishly here right now. So with that said, we have a 30-day trial at TRI, so you're more than welcome to come on over. And also we do hour to 2 hour long videos on a daily basis. And just talking about the various different things that we've seen in the market. It's interesting, we were talking about breadth there just a moment ago, and you can see that following the Fed announcement here today, the S&P 500 market actually is flashing a buy signal. And I gotta say, man, risk is really catching a bait all over the map. So, take advantage of that 30-day trial. Come to get to know our community a little bit better. If you do need help building things like your plans for running your small business of trading, I think we do a really good job at training people on how to effectively run a small business of trading, including things like dealing with your emotions and your personal baggage as an investor or a trader, and sort of setting you in a good direction for you to succeed. So new school term probably starts, I guess, in a couple months. So if you are new to the market, if crypto's got your attention, not a bad investment. Our price point, actually it hasn't moved up at all through this whole crazy hyperinflation. The higher along programs have gotten a little bit more expensive, but I think we keep that basic level 1 program the same price for everybody. So consider that, and I think we do a pretty good job of training people. And good luck in the market. If anything, we've waited about 3 or 4 months of just doing absolutely nothing in the market, waiting for the damn market to bottom. So it looks like we're awfully close, probably within a month or so. So get yourself ready, get yourself prepared, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's some nice money to be made on the long side here into maybe middle to the end of spring. So. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your participation tonight. Thank you, Nick. Any closing thoughts for the community here?
No, I got nothing. It's a good night. I had fun. No, I was just enjoying the fun, watching some charting.
Right on. Okay. And thank you very much, Derek. Any closing thoughts for the community here this evening?
No, have a great week.
Right.
Yeah, stay safe. That's about it.
All right, everybody. So thank you very much for your participation tonight, gentlemen. I look forward to seeing you on the site. And, of course, like I said, Derek's turning into a pretty good stock picker, so I definitely want to pick his brain and see if he has any names in the hopper. Because I'm in a buying mood, I'll tell you that much. It's been a while since I bought much, so I want to get in there and make some money from trading. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a great night. PMA for the win. All the best. And Derek, why don't you take us on out of here tonight? The only thing left for us to say is...
Bye for now.